Why do you keep setting goals thinking that's going to make the difference, that it's going to work? Goals don't work. All you have to do is look at the immense rate of failure around New Year's resolutions or getting that summer bod to realize that just setting goals is not enough to make a difference in your life. What's that tired old tropey definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? That's what goal setting has been for most of us. But here's where it gets really interesting. I'm gonna go back on everything I just said because setting goals is so important. We know this to be true. Seneca said, and I completely agree with him, our plans miscarry because they have no aim. When a man does not know what harbor he's making for, no wind is right. So if you agree with Seneca or me, you believe that goal setting is still important. However, what's missing? If we're missing goals, if we're not achieving the things that we want, if we don't have the life that we say we want, what's missing? I'm so excited to do this video because I'm going to tell you exactly what's missing in our goal setting, in the way that we behave around our goals, and I'm going to tell you 3 very simple principles that will help you apply it to your life immediately. But first, a story about how a life sentence gave me more freedom than I ever thought possible. Of course, I'm not talking about a life sentence in prison. I'm talking about a self-imposed life sentence. Ever since the age of 19, I have struggled with my physical fitness and wellness. It's been an unrelenting roller coaster of getting fit or getting close to fit and then getting fat again, feeling terrible about myself, and then creating some new resolve and then getting active again and finding something that helps me, and then, what do you know, getting fat again. And oftentimes what would happen is I would set goals around my fitness, around the way that I looked or my weight or, my waist size, whatever it was. I would set these goals and sometimes I would meet them and sometimes I wouldn't. But it didn't seem to have any effect. My goals didn't seem to have any effect on the sustainability of my physical fitness. Regardless of the goals met or goals not met or goals set or goals not set, I still experienced this crazy yo-yo effect across decades. About 3 years ago, I woke up to this discovery, this realization, this thing that makes the difference in goal setting. I discovered the principle that finally helped me break the cycle of what I call the crisis of goals. The crisis of goals is simply this: when we set a goal, whether we reach them or not, when they become the focus, when they are the focus, we are bound to have a crisis, whether we reach them or not. I created a very simple idea and then I bought into it 1000%. I simply decided this: I am the person who works out at least 5 times a week, no matter what, for the rest of my life. A life sentence around my wellness. Now that may scare you. You may get some anxiety around that. But let me tell you what that did. That created more freedom for me in my physical wellness than I have ever experienced in my entire life. And I still set goals around my physical wellness, my physical fitness. Maybe it's a race coming up or maybe it's a mountain that I want to summit. But most of the time I don't have goals around my physical fitness. And it's the most freeing experience that I've ever had. And here's the crazy, shocking part of it. I'm in the best shape of my life, at least my adult life since being 19. And with only a few exceptions of illness or vacation, I have been the guy that works out or gets physically active 5 times a week, no matter what, for 3 years. What is that thing that made the difference for me? What is the thing that changed my life completely? It's very simple, but incredibly powerful. I want to read you this quote from Marcus Aurelius that illustrates this principle perfectly. He says, "Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice. And on freeing yourself from all other distractions. Yes, you can if you do everything as if it were the last thing you were doing in your life. And stop being aimless. Stop letting your emotions override what your mind tells you. This, my friends, is the key to creating whatever change you want to create in your life. It's very simple, but it's not easy. It's the daily practice of discipline. There may be a goal, there may not. Who cares? What are you willing to do today? What are you committed to doing today that's going to make the difference that you say you want? For me, it's getting out of bed, walking to the gym, and doing the workout that I told myself I was going to do. That's the daily practice of discipline that has made every difference in my life. And as Marcus Aurelius says, given me all the freedom from distraction. You don't realize it, but all those things that you allow yourself to be distracted by, all of those things that you use as an excuse not to do the thing you know you want to do or you're committed to doing, that has you bound. You're like a prisoner to it. Once you're willing to let go of the distractions, stay focused on what needs to be done today, you will experience freedom. Now, how do we experience that freedom? I'm going to give you 3 principles that I use in order to keep that freedom, to keep this practice of discipline in my life. They're very practical, very usable today. The first principle is to have a why, an aim or a purpose for your discipline. There must be something bigger than yourself in order to get really committed to it and to see the possibility of the future that it could bring. Because discipline is all about short-term pain for long-term gain. Distraction and comfort and ease is all about short-term gain, long-term pain. This must be something that matters to you, that you have a stake in. For me, it's my physical fitness. I want to be physically fit. I want to be able to support my family, to play with my kids. And if I ever have grandkids someday, I want to play with them. I want to hike with them and be able-bodied. This aim and purpose must be specific so that you can visualize it. You must be able to talk about it like as if it's today. You must be able to feel it as if you are experiencing it today. If you can do that, then you've been specific enough. And here's a bonus hint on this one. You ready? This one's going to seem crazy. Don't tell others about your aim or your goal or your disciplines unless they're going to contribute to it directly and you're going to be accountable to them. But that's a very small group, maybe one or a few people. Don't tell anybody about it. Just show them with your results. The reason this is so powerful is because the brain can actually, when you tell people about what you're going to accomplish, can make up that you've actually accomplished something just by telling them. And it can turn off. It can make excuses to not stay disciplined in that thing. So keep it close to the chest. Don't let anybody know until you have results in your life. Principle number 2, focus on 1 or 2 disciplines at a time. You only need to focus on these for about a month, maybe a little bit more, in order to make it a habit. And then a habit becomes your way of being. It becomes part of you. The tendency for a lot of us humans, me included, I've bought this t-shirt a million times, is I get super motivated. And motivation is very powerful. It's like coursing through the veins, and all of a sudden I just want to change everything in my life. And I'm going through every single aspect of my life, making disciplines and goals and aims and saying things that I'm going to do new. And then I get overwhelmed and I end up not doing any of them. It's incredibly more powerful to decide 1 or 2 things that I'm going to work on this month, that I'm going to get disciplined in and create daily practices around and master those, and then move on to the next ones. Make sure the disciplines are challenging, that they're stretching you, that you're not sure if you can complete it, but not unrealistic. The third principle, plan for challenges. Plan for everything to go wrong. Plan for the voice inside your head, the version of you that wants to sabotage your dreams and talk you out of that hard thing in the moment when it matters most. Get familiar with that voice. Have really strong rebuttals to that voice. Know what you're going to tell that person, that version of you when it shows up. Know exactly what you're going to tell it so that you can push through the resistance and do it anyway. One of the most impactful mistakes I make when setting a new discipline or aim in my life is that I believe that everything's going to go to plan. I neglect to think about how I am against myself at times, or how the world is against my plan. So make a very specific plan around the times that you don't want to do the thing. Plan for challenges, plan for temptation, plan for being lazy, plan for being tired, plan for the scheduling to not work, plan for all of it to go completely wrong, and then have a plan to make it go right. Never forget these 3 principles. Have an aim or a why for your discipline. Focus on 1 or 2 disciplines at a time. And number 3, plan for challenges. Once you've committed to this daily practice of discipline, in order to actually make it happen, you're gonna need a shot of courage. Watch this video I did about how I made courage an everyday practice. Peace.